I think we can start the second half of our show, episode number 6 of Sox Type Thing, with a second half of the season outlook, which I think is a little more positive than it would have been if we had recorded this when we typically record our shows before the Twin series. So, curious what you think of the first half and what you're thinking towards this second half of the season.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give the first half a C. And it only gets a C because of how these last 8 games went. Because
Yeah.
if it was easily a D, maybe a D plus, but it was,
Well, C is average, and 500, 46 and 46
yeah,
is the definition of average. So I
as
guess
average as you can get, folks.
I think you would have been justified to give it a D just because the expectations
Yes,
are far
no,
greater than
no
being
doubt.
average this year. So like if the Tigers were 500, I'd give them
That'd
an
be an
A.
A. Yeah, I'd give them
So
an A too. I would
yeah.
totally give the Tigers an A.
So
But because it looks the trend is up based on what has just happened over the last few weeks, and especially the last 8 games. We also talked about this before, and you also brought it up to me on Twitter. They have the easiest schedule ahead of them.
yeah, I've seen that in a couple different places. The you're playing more teams below 500 than anyone else in Major League Baseball for these last 70 games. So that's kind of a good thing. I don't know how else to interpret that. I don't know if that means you played a harder schedule in the first half than most, or how that plays
Yeah, I
out.
mean,
But
we played all of the AL East in the first half pretty much, except I believe we still have one series with the Orioles, but that's not an easy task anymore. They are the only team hotter than the Orioles is the Mariners, it seems, right now. What they
yeah,
win, what they end the season 14 in a row or something like that. But
yeah, and like 22 out of 25.
yeah,
That's a hot streak.
that is a hot streak of all hot streaks. But with the easiest schedule, a decent amount of games against the AL Central still,
Yeah,
including I'll be at Saturday's game coming out of the break against um,
Cleveland.
against Cleveland. Thank you, against the Guardians. And where am I? Who am I? Who are you? So that'll be a fun series to kick it off. I like that they're just getting right back into it with the AL Central and one of the teams they have to get by to win the division. I think it's a good measuring test. But what's key to the second half? They got to win at home. So it's good they're starting out
You're
at home
you're
against.
19 and 25 at home so far this year. Was that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and they're like 6 games over 500 on the road.
That would be that the math checks out. Yes.
Yeah, so it's just bizarre when you think about. Yeah, no shit, right? Thanks, Pete. Thanks for that, buddy. But another reason to be optimistic, and I don't know, I'm going with that for this purpose of this conversation, that Lewis Robert is returning on Friday.
Yeah.
This is what the projected lineup, and I don't know if this is what the batting order is going to be, but here's your projected lineup as of Friday. Anderson leading off, a red hot Mancada batting second, Lewis Robert probably batting third. That's where he's been. Abreu fourth, Vaughn fifth, Grandel will be back.
Return of Grandal. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sixth, Jimenez seventh, AJ Pollock eighth, Harrison ninth. I mean,
well, specifically to Grandal, like, can he have a worst first half than that? I mean, the second half has to be better for him.
Well, he had a terrible first half last year too.
Was it terrible?
Yeah, it was pretty
bad.
Then he went on the injury and
all right,
came back, and his legs were fine, and he is, not that it means anything, he is over 1,000 OPS in his minor league rehab. So he's hitting the shit out of the ball, playing catcher too. So
I think you've got to assume some of those guys are going to have better second halves, or hope at least. You'd also hope that the injury bug lessens, considering how much you've had to deal with so far. But obviously that's not a guarantee. I think one thing that almost is a guarantee is Jose Abreu rakes in August. He is, I think
he's already raking.
Yeah, and he's already trending up over the last few weeks anyway. So I think you're going to see a huge August from Abreu right when you need it. So even if maybe those other guys don't start to live up to the backs of their baseball cards, he might be able to carry you for a while.
Yeah, and the other thing about all this is keeping this team healthy and on the field has been a real struggle, as I pointed out with the 11%. So.
Word Hole Media.